What up? Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, I'm in goat mode. Go.
We're live.
What's up, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the OSA Out of Shape Allstars, episode 9.
Hey.
Episode 9.
Nueve.
What's up, people?
How you say that? How you say that in Spanish, Johnny?
Nueve.
Oh, okay, Drew. Okay, Drew.
Okay, Drew.
Yo,
I told you.
I got
You know who his daddy is?
I got an honorable award in Spanish in high school, bro. I know some of my shit, so.
Okay.
And again, his daddy is Ozzy Guillen. I told y'all.
Yeah, shut up, bro.
Right.
Welcome
Drew's Ed's cousin. They're related.
Welcome to, and you know, Dominicans be coming in all shapes and size and colors. But welcome to episode 9, OSA Out of Shape All-Stars. Welcome back. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We got a good show for you. Okay. We got a good show for you. And we got the squad here, except for one. Unfortunately, the homie just DQ couldn't come. He got the mud butt. He on the toilet. So my guy.
So he's got the mud butt.
So, feel better, bro. But the rest of us is here. And always, you got our host, Eddie Horchata, in the building. We got the kid, Johnny 5, in the building. We got K Jet in the building.
Yo.
And on time, for the second time, we got AD Andrew Durant in the building.
It was only 2 out of 9 episodes.
Good job, bro.
2 out of 9 episodes.
And like always, I am here. I am your host. Well, not your host. I'm your referee, your commentator, your mediator. My mama called me Devin, so you can call me Devin. I'm the Don of all Dons. I just do me. And you see Eddie got on that fresh Don.
That's right.
Fresh, it finally came. When did it come?
This morning, just now. Well, not just now, but earlier.
Make sure y'all go to Don's Inc. or DonsTravel.com, copy y'all tees. But let's get into this episode, man. In case you missed it, the MLB draft took place. All my baseball fans, y'all excited out there, right?
Yep.
No.
Because the Yankees drafted a catcher, and
that we won't see in 10 years, Kev. Maybe 5.
Time to get Sanchez out of here.
He's a Boston Red Sox fan. He's a Boston Red Sox fan.
Who? The kid?
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of like.
That's more motivation. It's more motivation.
But with the number 1 pick, the Baltimore Orioles took a catcher, and
third baseman. And it was it was a third baseman. It was the Detroit Tigers from Arizona State. Yeah, first overall pick was Spencer Torkelson, third baseman out of Arizona State.
Yeah,
Yo, Eddie, Johnny, kick it off with
y'all know baseball, so I'll
Eddie, Johnny, Kevin, we throwing it to y'all.
Drew, shut up. Let me do this. All right, so with the MLB draft just taking place, what are some of the notable newcomers coming to the league? Eddie, Johnny, Kev. Who's hot?
Probably, I don't know, all of them, but not for another 4 or 5 years. This is the problem with the MLB draft. It's not like hockey. It's not like basketball. It's not like football, where these guys are going to be immediate producers. These kids are usually like, some of them don't even go to college. Some of them, they either go straight in when they're 18. Some of them get when they're freshman year, their sophomore year, their junior year. These kids pretty much come out and they go into the farm system. And so double A ball, so single A ball, double A ball, and then triple A ball, you got to work your way up. Obviously, with everything going on now with COVID.
Jump straight to triple.
Some of them do, but again, it's very hard. It's very hard to tell like when these kids are going to be good. There's a good chance that you can get to have the first overall pick, but there hasn't been many Hall of Famers that come out in the first with the first overall pick, or even in the first round for that matter. I believe there's only been 2 Hall of Famers. I don't know who they are off the top of my head that made it to the Hall of Fame that were drafted first overall. John, do you have that information?
I was Googling as you was talking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but again, it's like you don't really see these guys for a good 4 or 5 years. Maybe like the very, very good ones, you'll see soon. But the rest of them you probably won't. So
honestly, I didn't even know the baseball draft was even televised. That's the first time I even seen it.
Yeah, well, because there's nothing on. That's the only reason why people care. It's usually on MLB Network, but again, it's like, who cares? I'm sure these kids are good. I don't want to discredit them, and maybe one day they will be great. So just keeping it locally, Hold on. The Mets drafted Pete Crow Armstrong, outfielder out of Harvard Westskill School, California, so not the real Harvard. To not confuse anyone. And then the Yankees drafted, Kevin's super excited about Austin Wells, a catcher out of Arizona because he hates Gary Sanchez for some reason. Yeah, again, we won't see any of these kids, and who knows if they'll be good. You know, again, this is like a very like Tom Brady-esque thing where he's picked in the 6th round or the 7th round.
Right.
He becomes a really, really good baseball player. John, do you have that stat for me?
Ken Griffey Jr. was the #1 pick.
Okay.
And he's arguably one of the greatest.
Well, I mean, again, his dad, he was known. Again, everyone knew. Bryce Harper, I think, was up there too. You know, maybe we'll see what happens with him in his career. Obviously, Mike Trout Mike Trout wasn't drafted until like 32. So, again, it doesn't really matter with the baseball draft. We just got to talk about it because we got to talk about
it. All right. Speaking of baseball, there's still a lot of fuckery going on in the MLB in regards to the players and the owners coming to some type of agreement in regards to if we're actually going to get a baseball season. The deadline or something was supposed to happen today. Eddie, do we have any updates in regards to where we stand in regards to the next season or this upcoming season of baseball?
Well, again, Manfred came out today, said he's not 100% sure, which pissed off a lot of players. We mentioned this but Bryce Harper tweeted out to the Eagles, "What's good, Eagles?" Maybe Bryce Harper will play for the Eagles. We'll see.
What position would Bryce play?
Probably, he's quick. He's kind of strong. I mean, he'd be like a Wes Welker type wide receiver. I could see him doing that, right? You know, a little like Cooper Kupp, white boy receiver.
Get killed out there.
I'm sure he'll die. Yeah.
He's
but
gonna
again,
be a special teams player.
Maybe, but again,
he's the last slot on the roster.
Let's be realistic. There's no way he's gonna get signed to the Eagles. Come on.
Of course not.
There's no.
Obviously, that was a joke.
Way.
But
clearly,
I know
Go ahead, John.
done, but there was a couple of other notable names: Chipper Jones, Alexander.
So King Griffey and Chipper Jones number 1 though.
Yeah,
A-Rod was number 1. Unfortunately, he's not a Hall of Famer though. I'm talking about straight up Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
so those are the two: Chipper Jones, King Griffey.
Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg was #1 picks, but obviously it's still in it.
Right. They'll be Hall of Famers.
There's one more name. Hold on, let me scroll back.
So fuck the name, Johnny. Are we going to get some baseball season this year?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, it's over. I love baseball, but it's over. They can't agree. They fighting. It looks like they're fighting over money. That's how it's being portrayed. That there is a struggle over money, and I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. It's gonna stay there.
It normally is always a struggle over that.
I feel like it's at a standstill. It's not gonna go nowhere till somebody budges, but it doesn't look like nobody wants to budge. So,
but again, never want to budge on the money.
Okay, so is there any type of happy medium any of y'all can think of that would possibly? I mean, y'all ain't y'all don't work for the owners. Y'all don't work for the league. But what do y'all see can possibly work in regards to getting us a MLB season, whether it's short or full season or what the fuck ever, like some type of sport?
Right. So we talked about this last week when they were saying that they were going to have like a 50-game season. We said that baseball is a game of streaks. There's no way if you get off to a slow start and you're a really good baseball team, you're not going to make it. I talked about this but the way
18 off the rip.
It's done. I mean, you have one bad week in baseball and forget it. I mean, you might as well just kiss your playoff hopes goodbye. But I mean, we were talking about this it doesn't really. I don't know if it makes full sense. Again, I don't know the logistics. I'm not in a front office of an MLB team or an agent or work for the MLBPA. But I mean, if we're talking about if the debate is over money, and the owners are willing to give you 75% of your prorated salary, why isn't there a way that you can work out with your contract that over the next court, let's say you have a 5-year contract, you get the rest of the 25 years after those 5 years. I mean, this is really hurting players that are free agents like Mookie Betts. They're definitely looking for good paydays. Some of these veteran guys that are looking for their last, big contract before they have to retire. I don't know what the answer is. Hopefully that is, but I don't think it's going to happen. And again, we might have another lockout. Last time we had a lockout was 1994 was last night. Even during World War II, we still played baseball. I just don't understand how this is what it's come down to. So
even in a war, you were still able to get the sport. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That was a different time too, though. I'm sure they were only getting nickels and a bag of sunflower seeds.
Right.
The money's definitely different, but I think money's definitely the big influence. And if they come onto an agreement, we'll have baseball. But doesn't look good.
That seems to be the only conversation. Like, there's nothing else has been said in regards to this is preventing the baseball season from happening. It's all been a matter of money and games and how people will be compensated due to the money in games. So it seems to be nothing but that.
Because I'm pretty sure, obviously, owners have money, but some owners own small market teams, so they're already probably taking losses, and they probably can't afford, like while the Yankees probably can afford certain things.
The Yankees is
versus
definitely
small market team.
John, that's a really good point. So think of like the teams, like the small market teams that you mentioned that have some of these big guys under big name contracts. I look at Nolan Arenado. I mean, he's at the end of it. He's got a big contract. The Colorado Rockies are a small market team. They don't really have a lot of money. What's to say that the New York Yankees don't get him and build like a super team? How crazy would that be, huh? But like you see a lot of teams dumping big players with big contracts that they can't afford.
That is highly likely to happen.
That's another thing that might happen to some players. So they're trying to probably try to avoid certain things like that. That's why it's a tug of war between them. But certain teams is gonna have to cut like the big contracts.
Let some big players hit the open market. The Yankees better sign. They better pay up, man, because the boss is gonna roll over in his grave if we let too many of the big names slide.
Again, baseball we still ain't got who got a TV on because I get that shit loud as fuck.
Not me, Drew.
Definitely Drew.
My bad, guys.
So unprofessional.
Okay, so
my last take on baseball. If you're juicing the baseballs, you better juice them the fuck up and make sure that we get nothing but home runs for the next following year because you're losing so many fans. Let's just bring the steroids back, bring the juice balls, bring the cork bats. Let's just fucking let's try to get some ratings here, okay? Because you're a boring sport and nobody watches you anymore.
All right, God, baseball, you hearing it from the fans? Fix this shit so they can watch baseball because I'm not watching that shit. All right, moving on. We're going into NASCAR. Now, with everything going on in the world, we already know some tough times going on. Black Lives Matter, as usual. So even NASCAR is taking a stance. You have a lot of drivers, including Bubba Wallace, who was protesting the Confederate flag being waved at the
events.
At the events, and so NASCAR took it upon themselves to do away with the Confederate flag now, which is dope because again, for the most part, the people who watch NASCARs is of Anglo descent, I would say.
Wasps, you could just say wasps.
So for them to take a stand, and these are a lot of Southerners, a lot of country folks that watch this. So for NASCAR to come up and say, make a stand to say that they are with Black Lives and they're protesting these old racial terms and things that took place in America. We got players quitting. Drivers quitting due to it. A driver by the name of Ray Cicilline, I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Kev, how do you pronounce it?
Ray Cicilline.
Cicilline, yeah.
Cicilline.
I set you up, but all right. We'll move on.
Because he don't like the stance that NASCAR is taking. I feel like people's freedom of expression is being taken away, and their history is being taken away.
Heritage is the word that they use all the time.
Heritage is being taken away.
The racist.
Heritage to what though? I know I'm probably jumping the gun, Dev. I don't know where you're. Go ahead. But like, heritage to what? That's the losing side.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, listen, if the South wants to run it back, we can fucking run it back, baby. We lost last time. Let's run it back. I don't care. They probably have more guns, so we'll probably lose this time. But either way, again, you pick the losing side. And you put, there was talks about Robert E. Lee statues and all this other stuff getting closed down. Again, these were like what Johnny said. They're traitors. It's treason. You can't do that. You got the other side of the argument too, shitting on this one little city out in Portland that self-governed themselves, kicked out the police, kicked out all political stuff. They're like, well, you're a treasonous county. It's like, well, yeah, you guys were a treasonous state. But what history does this thing have anymore? It doesn't hold any history anymore. No. You're the losing side. It was
But it does
being
hold
rebels.
again. It does hold history, but what it stands for, it
stands for the wrong thing.
It stands for the wrong thing. So if we as Americans are trying to move forward, then we have to acknowledge the bad times, but also
of course,
by waving those flags, that says that we stand with this type of thought and we stand with these times.
The hatred,
and therefore the hatred, the bigotry, the racism, and NASCAR is basically saying we don't stand with that. So therefore, we taking this shit down. I'm not mad at that. Kev, what you think about that?
Basically, I'm just looking at the quote from Ray the racist Cicerelli.
Well, he said he's not racist. He's not racist.
Yeah, he also said that he didn't quit for the flag anymore.
Right. He's a martyr.
Unfortunately, Ray, you don't get to decide. We've decided you are a racist, and don't come around me because it's on site. Anyway, just to recap briefly some of his quote. The synopsis is he's saying he doesn't like the way the direction that NASCAR is going. It basically, once the 2020 season is over, he's done. He doesn't believe in kneeling during the national anthem, and he can't believe that they are taking away the rights for these people to wave whatever flag they love.
Yeah,
all right, well, Ray the racist Cicerelli, man, I would like to tell you to go screw yourself, man. Because once again, you're neglecting and missing the point. You and Drew is in the same bag. How many times do we have to explain that it has nothing to do with the flag and that there are more than hundreds of armed forces, soldiers, retired, and still active that support us and support the movement?
You know what he also said?
Yourself.
I'll say, wouldn't the Confederate flag be disrespectful to the actual American flag in itself? Because
in my opinion, it is. Yeah. It's more I think that the Confederate flag is more disrespectful than kneeling during the national anthem.
Because they went to war.
They went
to war with the country.
Right.
He also even have a stance of that he doesn't even care about the actual Confederate flag. He cares about the people that's standing with the flag. Their rights is being taken down. Why are you going so hard? Why are you going so hard about something that you even don't care about your damn self?
Ray,
if we agree with shit you said,
it's too late for you to recant, bro. We know how you feel. We know it's in your heart. I don't want to hear no shit about it.
The other thing too about this guy, in 4 years, he's only had one top 10 finish. He sucks, so who cares?
You're gonna lose your paycheck for motherfucker.
So he's not good.
This is the most relevant he's ever been in sports. Period. Yeah. He's a fucking bum. I'm pretty sure people had him when he came out and said that he was quitting. Motherfuckers like who?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure this is clickbait. Like we said, he's pretending to be like a martyr. I don't really do I think he's a racist? Absolutely. Do I think that he quit NASCAR? Or he's quitting NASCAR after 2020 because they're getting he doesn't like the direction that it's going, and it's not about the flag, but it is about the flag, and it's not about the flag. Whatever he's saying right now. No, I think you're quitting NASCAR is because you suck and you're probably losing.
Facts.
But also real quick too, since we're still on NASCAR, shout out Alvin Kamara supporting Bubba Wallace through all this. Obviously, him and Drew. Obviously, Drew Brees being his quarterback, what he had already gone through, and now he's supporting one of the only black, probably the only black.
I think he's the only black.
Yeah.
He's the only. Yeah. Okay. I don't watch NASCAR because
nobody.
I live in New York and
left turns.
Yeah.
Hey Ray, we're gonna miss you, man.
I won't.
But all right, moving on, man. We're gonna get into collegiate sports. Now, the governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis, passed a bill that will allow collegiate players to get paid next summer.
About time.
But it's only at this point. It's only for sponsorship. So, I mean, little steps. We're getting there. They should be getting paid a salary or some sort, but
that means they gotta get their status up, man, in order to get sponsors.
And it could be a local sponsor, it could be national sponsor. Anything works and shit. I mean, it just steps in the right way. I mean,
you're gonna see a lot of collegiate athletes selling used cars. Hi. Do you need a Toyota?
Yeah, California did it last season. Florida's doing it this upcoming season. So I'm hoping we see more and more states adapt this same bill and start paying these players. Like these college schools makes billions of dollars from 1 or 2 programs that pay for every fucking school program. The football team pay for every fucking program. Basketball team pay for every other program and shit. And
coaches be multi-millionaires.
Coaches be getting more than NFL, be getting more than pro coaches and shit. So a free scholarship ain't just like that. Ain't the proper salary for these players. These dudes be making these schools millions of dollars. They should get a little bit more than that. So good shit with Florida taking a step in the right direction and starting, getting these niggas some money. All right.
It's
so
steps,
speaking of football, because this is going to benefit football players as well as basketball players. Eddie was just telling us that it just came out. Zeke got COVID.
Yeah, he got the COVID. Him and there's a few other players.
What you call that man?
Zeke.
Oh.
What you guys said?
Zeke.
I don't know what that
It's Zeke, bro.
I just wanted to hear what you said. I don't know.
Zeke sauce.
Freaky Zeke.
Zeke probably was out here. Zeke was probably out here. Didn't believe that it was real.
He's the
come on.
He's the more prominent name, but it's also Texans players that got it too.
Yeah, Texans and Cowboy
players. So
and also, you have to remember that Texas, Arizona, and Florida were the first states to reopen. And everything was fine and normal, and COVID just disappeared. But obviously, it makes sense that they're now getting it again.
Now, was it Zeke and like other players that was close to him? Like,
they're unnamed right now.
Unnamed,
we don't really know what's going on.
They only named Ezekiel. So
because he's the biggest name.
Because I don't know if it was like a practice or a training that they might have went to, and all of them was together. Where
they still might not. What's crazy? They still might not name the other players. So
so mini camps were closed. There's just certain guys doing private camps.
I think there's the same thing with Kevin Durant.
I think that got it.
He was with him
at the party. You saying everyone that got it?
No, they was even training together too.
Yeah,
and I seen somewhere it was Tom Brady was training with a few of his players.
Yeah, a lot of guys are. Daniel Jones has been doing it. Sam Darnold's been doing it. A lot of these guys. So with the NFL, there's a lot of guys that are doing like private practices and private like mini camps and stuff within themselves. And the organization is actually holds no like liability for it because still because of the lockdown, because of the global pandemic. Teams are not allowed to practice in their own facilities right now until, whenever this passes and whatever.
Hi, Zeke, you feel better, but y'all niggas got to sit down. Sit down. Please, like, stop rushing out in these fucking streets, yo. It ain't nothing out here that deep. Like, chill out. Let's get through this shit.
These streets don't love nobody right now.
Let's get through this shit. Like, man, just take a break, bro. Like, you ain't doing shit. All y'all on unemployment anyway. Most of the stores closed. Like, come on, man. Collect your unemployment, your extra $600, and just chill out. Like,
in New York, for what I know.
Yeah.
No, the government's giving that. Yeah, never mind.
That's government funded.
That's everybody.
Yeah. So just take a moment, chill. Once we open, we gonna be lit. But right now, just chill the fuck out.
We gonna be lit.
Last up, and in case you missed it, for my gamers and geeks like Johnny, the PS5 was revealed. That shit looked like a big
router.
Yeah.
It looked like
That's the only bum thing about this console.
Like Shelter,
bro, is the look of it. But I don't care. I'm gaming.
Don't get it twisted. This podcast
I'm gaming, bro.
Esports as well. So we had to bring this up. Johnny, how do you feel about the reveal of the PS5? I did see the Miles Morales Spider-Man trailer. That shit looks fire.
I haven't seen the 2K trailer with Zion. That was the graphics.
The graphics is awesome.
Yeah, but everyone knows the cinematic trailers look way better than the actual game.
The trailers always look way better. Yeah.
Don't matter what they do.
It's cool.
The commercials being like
we get got all the time. How gullible are we, man?
Every time.
That's how they do it. That's how they.
Johnny,
do
you gonna get one?
Man.
Getting you a PS5?
I'm getting
getting one.
Xbox.
Yeah,
Xbox Series
looking like a
X.
big desktop right here.
You know,
King.
you're
X
saying that,
series.
but the P5 might arguably be bigger than the Xbox.
Nah, the
I
P5
mean,
look like they let
the only-
NASA design it and shit.
That's the only thing I hate about the console is the look of it, but everything else,
They try to make it look
looking to
pretty.
be,
They try to make it look
Nah.
pretty.
it's what it's looking
No,
to be.
'cause-
Like,
Tried.
No, the
I like it.
PS5 it actually comes with a remote because it's a drone as well. That big motherfucker and shit. you can fly that motherfucker
Yeah.
too, big as hell.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm more of an Xbox guy. But
Word. Everybody in this pod is Xbox guy.
Except for Kev.
for the only-
I'm about to switch. I'm about to
Nah.
switch,
except
bro.
for Kev.
About to switch, B.
I have every
PS5.
PlayStation. I will have every PlayStation.
I've had
real
every
though, I had
PlayStation
P-
except the P4.
So-
I have every
so-
I had
PlayStation
PS2. PS2 was lit back in the day, bro.
PS2 was
Like,
the best console out there.
PS2
Yes, bro.
was great. Yeah,
PS2
PS2
Period.
was a great
PS2 was
system.
lit.
PS2 is definitely a great system.
Yeah, but
Until you
Which
forget
are you guys?
until you
Are you guys
forget
going to
your
cop
memory
it this
card
year?
at home.
No,
You got-
hell no.
no, wait till that
No.
shit.
Kev,
wait a couple
Drew?
months.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'm
Drew?
gonna wait for them to get the kinks out. Always do.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
always
You
gotta
gotta
wait
let
for them to
the
go
first couple of
glitches out.
batches come out, and then
Yeah.
you
They
gotta,
glitched up.
you gonna
Yeah.
spend
Well,
all
they're-
that money and shit gonna be fucked up. You
It's just
know?
gonna be
Yeah, wait.
exploding.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
wait,
dumb
at least
because they're not
2
doing
years.
backwards capacity on all games for PS5, which is really dumb. We talked about this way pre. But we were saying like, yeah, it kind of makes no sense like to buy consoles when they first drop because of the bugs, because of all that.
Right.
But because more than likely the games that come out, they're going to come out for both, like PS4
Yeah.
and PS5, and you'll be able to play with guys that have a PS5 and have a PS4. But they're saying that there's going to be a lot of games that aren't going to be backward compatible, which is really dumb.
That's gonna suck.
Now,
And then what's going to happen 2-3 years later? They're all going to be backwards compatible. So what's the point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
what was I say?
Are they going to do the cross system? Compatibility?
Some
games-
some
Some games do it, like Call of Duty is
some
doing it
games.
now.
Fortnite.
No, I'm saying
Maybe
in
it's already
regards.
happened.
I'm talking about in regards to like
The
Xbox
future?
and PS, the PlayStation.
Eventually,
Again, depending on the
Depends on the
game.
game. Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the game for now.
They re-releasing GTA 5 for the new gen. And it's
Why
gonna be-
though? Like they
it's gonna be
should.
more
They should.
expanded and
No.
faster and stuff.
I'm shaking
No,
my
They
head.
should
Five,
just
though.
went to GS6,
We'll see.
bro. GTA.
Yeah, how about
6.
just make that game instead of fucking
Well,
around?
Yes,
Guess
why
they're not
releasing
releasing
GTA
GTA
5?
but
Bro, that
GTA
doesn't
It'd
5
be
make
taking
sense
them
to
10
me.
years to come out with a new Rockstar game, dog.
Yo, I'm shaking my
Anyway.
head
It's
like
worth
I'm
the
not
wait,
gonna
though.
cop
It's
it.
worth the wait. It's worth the wait. GTA 5 is still fun to play.
Nah, I'm shaking
Motherfuckers
my
still be playing
head.
GTA 5
Yeah.
though.
That shit sitting right here on the floor.
I still play it though. I ain't
All
gonna lie.
right, so
You gotta play
Fuck it.
online. Shit's fun as
PS5 coming soon. Don't
It's
buy it when
ugly.
it first drop because the shit is
Yeah.
ugly. It's gonna more than likely break. Wait about 2 years so you catch it on the Christmas sale. We're moving on. Bag it or trash it.
Trash it.
All right, are y'all ready? Trash. He said, Ted said
Trash everything.
the whole segment. Ted said trash the whole segment.
Segment is
we gonna-
fine, but
We gonna do bag it or trash it. Let's get into the first one.
Mhm.
We were just speaking about this. Florida being one of the newest states to allow collegiate players to get paid. So, as a whole, bag it or trash it. Should college players in general get paid for their service as a collegiate athlete? Eddie, going
Bag
to you
it.
first. Bag it or trash it.
Yeah, I'm going to bag this. Why wouldn't I? It's not fair that these colleges gain a fuckload of revenue and a fuckload of money off these kids' likabilities. Again, you got your college football, which makes probably the most. You got March Madness going on.
But they haven't did that in a while, though.
What's
College
that?
Football.
Oh,
college
well,
football.
yeah. But still, I mean, that's the thing. It's like these guys are, and like, how many guys are you seeing getting in a lot of trouble for getting money after, or making a secret deal with an agent? How many coaches lose their jobs? How many good players get their good name and integrity brushed through the dirt? Speaking of which, Reggie Bush obviously went through his whole thing at USC. Finally, there's a new athletic director. Finally, a new athletic president in there, and they're finally forgiving Reggie Bush. And I think this is another step closer to it. But yeah, I mean, you can't just give these kids free room and board and be like, yeah, whatever, it's a free ride to college, you'll be fine. It's like, no, like they gotta eat, and they also have to take care of their families back home. A lot of these athletes too pretty much come from nothing, and that's their escape, and that's how they get out. And not all these guys are well off, and I'm not saying all these guys are not well off, but most of them aren't, right? You know, so it's like they should have a small bag. I'm not saying a huge bag, but a small bag to take care of their themselves and their family before they get drafted. Because again, who knows? You never know. An injury can happen, and you can never get drafted. So.
Yeah, and again, you look at it. Most people in college do have family, have life. So most of us, when we were in college, we were fucking working full time, doing anything and everything to get money, and we got families that we supported. Now, a lot of times these athletes be full-time athletes, where all
they can't get a job
besides school is be an athlete, so they can't get a job. So
and
why would you deny them?
They don't be having the time to be doing federal work study jobs either.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They don't, because they full-time athletes. So Kev, bag it or trash it.
I'm bagging it, obviously. I mean, they need to get paid. There needs to be like a separate let's say division of money allocated to just pay them, because like Eddie said, bro, you can't just tell them like, oh, your schooling is covered, which really doesn't cost them shit to cover their schooling, right? And then what? You get them like 1 or 2 stipends for food during the week, but otherwise they can't. Like, come on, bro, it's a joke. They're working out here like slave labor, basically. Even though it's them trying to accomplish their dreams and stuff like that, and they should be happy to get an education, but that's not something we need to be looking at them and telling them. That's bullshit. When these stadiums that they come in and work out in and play ball in are multi-billion-dollar stadiums, and the coaches are getting paid 12, 15, 16 mil a year. I don't know what Stateman's getting paid, right?
Who?
What's his name? Shit.
Saban.
Nick
Saban.
Yeah.
He said Staven.
Staven, whatever, nigga. Esteban, I don't care what your name is, bro. All I know is, bro, he's getting paid bread, bro.
That's why he went back to college. He went to the league saying, nah, I go.
Yeah, well, he was also not very good.
He wasn't good, but a lot of bad coaches get paid.
But Harborough was real good, and where's he at?
Where he back in college. He
bagging.
Top 3 highest paid coaches in the NCAA or college right now. Dabo Sweeney, the head coach of Clemson, he's got 19.3 mil. Nick Saban at 8.8 mil, and
year?
our boy, Jim Harbaugh, 7.45. No, this is their contract. Highest paid contract.
Harbaugh ain't never coming back to the league, bro. He getting that college money.
We're big Harbaugh fans in this.
Drew, bag it or trash. The college players getting paid.
Yo, I definitely bag it, bro, because just like Kev said, like these coaches make millions, and the kids are not getting that, and that put in the hard work that is making these college billions of dollars. They're not getting nothing for it. Like of course they should have it. Of course they should get paid. And to believe it or not, this is only a real step, because even in the laws, they're saying they're not getting paid by the school. They're only getting paid by the likeness. Like if they the jerseys or even if their jerseys sell and they get sponsorships, they're not like getting paid by like the actual colleges or not. Like,
bro, them colleges is tripping, bro. You don't
so
think
the college is still getting it back?
You don't think they're charging them concession stands? You don't think they're charging them to sit their asses in them seats in the crowd?
Of course they are.
Jersey sales?
Yo,
come on, bro.
All right, John, bag of the trash.
Tough choice.
How's a choice? You did
how's it tough?
I think I know where John's going to go, so I'm going to kind of agree. Let him take it. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to trash it. Okay. I understand. Obviously, they should get money. The way how it's rigged, like how it's organized, colleges is make the money. But while I'm trashing this, how you gonna allocate the money for everyone that plays sports? You know what I'm trying to say? Say the person that on the team that does not play is just on the team. You got the scholarship to make it, but he doesn't play. Does he get paid? How you say who gets paid what? Does everybody get paid the same?
They got to figure that out, though, John. They can't.
It's got to be incentive based. For sure.
You can't just tell them sponsorship.
That's what I'm saying, but I understand that. But it's just like not everybody that goes to college is gonna go to the next level. They do it, and then they go on with the next thing in life. So I understand like the difference between like being a college star and
that's actually that's reason why you should get paid, because everybody ain't gonna go pro.
Yeah, what would you talk about, man?
So. Talking talking
No,
about,
but
Fuck what
there
you
should
talking
be some
about?
how you
type
gonna
of.
how you
there
gonna
should-
I get what you're saying.
how you gonna
No,
differentiate who gets paid?
right,
You know what I'm
but
trying to
Bro,
say?
we
that's why
don't
I'm saying.
I mean,
we
That's why I'm
don't
I
saying
get
it
guess
paid to
shouldn't be
figure
no.
that out, but let
Yeah,
them figure that
I don't
shit
think.
out.
I don't think
you
it
know,
should be where like
honestly,
if you everybody getting different salaries, but there should be some type of base pay, like federal,
honestly,
like
that's
us as students when we were fucking federal student
yeah,
aids and
That's
shit.
what.
We got
Yeah. Fellow aid.
us. Yeah, we
Yep.
got a certain base, and that was for everybody. Like
Mhm.
some to that extent.
Mhm. Yeah, it's got to be based on like your family income, whatever it might be. But the question that I thought you were going to go this way, John, and you didn't. The question I raised to all of you actually, real quick, is like, yeah, we're talking about college players getting paid. But we're mostly, I mean, let's be fully honest here. We're mostly talking about the two main collegiate sports that gain revenue. Those two being NCAA basketball, men's
Basketball and
basketball,
football.
and
and
football.
football.
What about the
Really?
baseball players? What about the lacrosse players, the softball players, the soccer players? Again, like, will they start? Because again, this is where I guess it creates a little bit of divide. But like,
Right.
will they be like,
Yeah,
"Yo, what about us?"
it's more than the major
It's
sports.
so it's just big.
That's
It's
part of my
bigger
point, but
than.
I left it out.
Mhm.
I was gonna go there,
They,
but I
they
left
got the
that part
money.
out.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, some colleges are different. Like some colleges survive on football or basketball, but then there's some
100%.
colleges that survive on others. Like
Right.
lacrosse can be like the it game for that university,
Yeah,
or it
John
could be
Hopkins,
something
all those
else.
guys.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You're
Yeah.
gonna
it's
have
not
colleges
it's not only
scrap their whole
baseball. It's
program
not only
Right.
football and
just to
baseball
cater
get
to
the
certain
bag for
sports.
colleges.
So I guess that it should be like revenue based, right? So it's like if you're the top school and this is your top sport, it's like these guys are going to make money, and then you guys will make a little bit, but these guys are making the
But
most
then
money.
another thing that limits
That's
what
where it gets
schools
confusing.
that limits what school you want to go. Say you want to go to
Mhm.
this school, it may not be best known for what that, but you want to go to that school to do that
Mhm.
at that
Yeah.
school. If they do it revenue based, they don't have to start cutting off these other programs. It doesn't bring it in like
Yeah.
the other ones, and then you can't
Yeah.
go to that school no
Yeah.
more.
That's
Right. You don't want to go to Texas A&M even though you're a Texas kid when you can just go to Alabama and get some money. I see where you're coming from, John. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
I
It's a
mean,
whole bunch of things. Remember,
Yeah.
there's way more colleges than
Yeah.
like actual sports teams.
all right, John. You ain't
For
as
real.
big as a sellout as I thought you were. So I get your point with that one. But they need to do something, whether
They gotta
it's a
figure
big
something out.
school
Of
or
course, they
a large
definitely
school,
got to do something.
some
Yeah.
type of pay scale for players. Because again, these teams, regardless of what school you in, these teams bring in revenue.
At
So
the end of the
therefore,
day,
because these teams are bringing in revenue, there should be some type of payment to the players, regardless if it's big or large. They need to figure out something. Like it need to be some
I
type
totally
of pay
agree with
scale.
that. They definitely do.
they got more than enough brain power and people with inflated checks and money getting that they could sit down and figure it out, bro.
All right. Speaking of inflated checks, we're gonna talk about the NBA. All right. So, because them niggas get bread.
Inflate. Oh, I thought you were gonna say. I was like inflated bubble, like because they're gonna be in a bubble.
They get them niggas getting bread. All right.
Got
so
it.
We got. It looks like we're gonna have an NBA season, but we got a lot of
course.
people that's in a fuss about how do we continue in regards to the sport. A lot of players are still concerned about COVID. You got a lot of players who feel as though no sport should be taking place at this time due to the
Civil rights
state of our country right now.
Black Lives Matter.
So with the Black Lives Matter, with the police brutality shit, another black man just lost his life the other day and shit. So
Rest
a lot
in
of
peace,
shit,
Rashad Brooks.
a lot of crazy shit going on in the world, and a lot of players are being very vocal about how they feel. Kyrie Irving being one of them.
Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard. So we'll just get into it with everything that's going on in the world. Bag of the trash is, should we have an NBA season? Johnny, I'm going to go to you first.
I'm going to bag it.
Okay.
I get where Dwight and Kyrie is coming from, and I get, that stance, because imagine if they really decide to say, oh, we're not playing. That will also have an effect on everything going on. But,
a traumatic effect.
Mm-hmm.
That would that's be one way. It goes. It has two sides to the coin.
Yeah.
They both ways to work. As long as the players that's gonna play, do a demonstration and continue to do it, everyone's gonna see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like both ways can work.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely a catch-22.
it's like a choice of what you want to do. But I'm bag. I feel like we need the NBA season. Definitely help out. And just something to like all the craziness that happening, just something a little positive that could come in and entertain everyone, and make sure everyone remains focused on what's going on. Don't let the sports fully distract you from the world. Just keep your
I think that's a lot of players' issues that a lot of people issue in regards to entertainment. Generally taking our eyes off
the ball.
Yes, that's why.
Of the bigger picture.
For everyone, it's like if we get basketball back, that's cool. Enjoy it, but don't just dive into it and forget everything else that's going on in the world. Just remember, as you're watching the sports, there's still some real shit going on.
Yeah.
All right, Drew, bag of the trash it, NBA season.
I don't. It's a funny thing. Just like Johnny, it's just like my guys are saying. It's a funny thing. Like I agree with them not wanting to do the season off of distraction, because you do not want that to happen. You don't want like the entertainment of the season to bring distraction of what's really going on. You don't want like the NBA is starting, everybody is no longer protesting, and that would be like totally like awful to the movement of what's happening right now. I do want basketball back. Like it just has to be like done in the right way. Like make demonstrations. Like don't make people forget about this moment, and don't let the game tell the fans to distract you from what's happening right now. And I know, and basketball is a perfect game because we already know that basketball is not like football. Like there have been demonstrations in the past before that make people that show what's really going on. Like, and that's my take for that.
All right, Kev, bag of the trash it, NBA season.
I'm bagging it. I understand what Kyrie and Dwight's talking about, but at the end of the day, they're not going to get enough people to jump on the bandwagon with them to really, let's say, have every black and brown player be like, yo, I'm not playing. Y'all can have the season, but I'm not playing.
This was this funny thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, Kev. This is this funny thing that Patrick Beverly even said shit because of LeBron's stance that like how he wants to play. He even said that if LeBron's playing ball, we all playing ball. Like making that statement.
I mean, LeBron's a face.
I mean,
they all look to him as.
I mean, that's a fact. But at the end of the day, what they saying, like, yo, we not trying to hear all that. Take this time y'all got right now, a month before everything starts, and y'all figure out collectively the best way to still promote and push the narrative of everything that's going on now, and being socially aware. Get y'all money because y'all work your asses off to get where y'all at. Those of y'all that don't make it in to the tournament or whatever, I mean, I'm sorry for y'all, but at the end of the day,
they still get their bread. I mean, even if they don't make it,
I don't care about them people.
At the end of the day, you can safely, smartfully, is that a word?
Huh? No, smartfully?
No, it's not.
Right?
No, it's not a word.
You can still do it smartly when you're promoting and pushing the narrative of everything that you want, like social injustice and everything, and still play the sport, bro. You can do both.
Right.
So take the time to stop bickering, get a plan together, and hit it off with a bang when y'all start.
Yeah, I think the NBA is probably the biggest platform to do it. Like, yes, each player has their own platform, but ain't nothing better than doing a demonstration at fucking Disney and making it, putting it right in front of the world. Here's where we stand. So that was the catch-22. I feel where they coming from, but they need to. If we want to protest, the best demonstration is to get it to Walt Disney and demonstrate there. Eddie, bag of the trash.
I'm gonna take a little different take. Obviously, while I agree with all of you saying that players won't give it, I have nothing but the utmost confidence in the NBA. The NBA has always been an ally to the Black Lives Matter movement, to all of the culture. Really, they've always been represented well. They've always
every movement.
The league. For every movement, they're always there. I have nothing but the utmost confidence to do with them. Maybe at 8:49. They like what they did with Kobe. Well, they'll take they'll take a penalty or whatever it is they're going to do. There might be a tribute. They're going to do it all the time, every day. I don't think it's going to cost the game. I don't think it's going to be throwing the game or anything. My take, though, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Melo's talking about not wanting to go to the bubble in Florida. So this is the thing. Like, this is why I thought it was this season was going to get canceled. Apparently, the players don't understand the full details of the bubble in Florida. So once you're there, you can't go. Your family can't go. Once teams get eliminated, maybe your family can start coming down.
Right.
Certain media players are going to go down there. They're going to be there, but they can't leave their quarantine. And if you get hurt, you stay in the bubble. And I don't think these players know that. They all signed this contract. Obviously, we weren't in that room. We don't know what that contract is. But there's a lot of players that didn't understand the contract. So this is why I almost trashed it. And then back to the Kyrie stuff. I mean, the guy believes the earth is flat. So
Yeah, Kyrie's tripping, bro.
he's crazy.
I
mean, he's
Come on,
crazy.
Kyrie in the
again,
season does have a point.
I'm not
I'm
mad
not
at
trashing
him.
Kyrie.
Kyrie, he's not going to even play to begin with. I'm
Right.
not mad at him for wanting us to, because again, the best way to hit motherfuckers is in their pockets. So that's where I think Kyrie gets talking, in the sense of a lot of these owners haven't came forward to say anything. So Kyrie looking at it like, okay, so they love us, they love what we do, but yeah, they ain't standing up for us. So let's hit them in their pockets. The only thing with that, a lot of players' pockets will get hit because of that, and then that takes away from the funds that they can actually put towards doing something. Although
And the owners win because then they save money.
Yeah, I mean, although they getting bread, we know even if they take the season off, they got enough money, hopefully, aside where it won't be that much of a killer. But I think the biggest demonstration is to get to the bubble and demonstrate and protest there. Whether as a moment of silence, where there's a kneel. Johnny said they can't knee in the NBA. He was
Yeah,
telling
it's
me
actual.
something like
That's
that.
the actual rule.
So-
They can't knee during
so-
the anthem.
They will. I bet they will.
No, they probably
Right.
will.
They will.
I doubt they'll get. If they,
No one's gonna get fined.
Yeah,
Nobody's gonna get fined for it. Like,
Because if they was to
that
if
rule
they was
was
to try to
even
pull some shit
before.
like that, if they try to pull some shit like that, then that would be the perfect protest to do in the bubble and shit. But
You might see an NBA walkout in the middle of a game.
right, we need a bigger protest, and it's nothing better than put it when everybody's looking, because NBA will be the only sport that we got. Everybody's going to be watching. Then you protest. That's how you get it. That's how you spread the word.
And Kyrie opened his mouth and he's talking all that smack. And owners and GMs and stuff, they're not gonna forget that, bro.
Yeah, Kyrie's definitely had
He's
his
trying to get a new bag or something, bro. They're not gonna forget that. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you the one that trying to hit us in the pocket."
I mean, Kyrie already got it though.
Kyrie good.
Kevin Durant last year, so it doesn't. You don't even worry about that. You ain't worry about that.
All right, moving on. We're going into football. Jameis Winston took to Twitter to say that
oh Lord.
he, in fact, is historically one of the greatest QBs we've ever had.
Sure. He's not wrong.
That's what he said.
So,
And can we say all together say trash it right now, because that's dumb.
Okay. So on the count of three, bag of the trash, y'all. 3, 2, 1.
Trash it.
Bag it.
Bag it. I heard.
No, trash. I said trash it. I said trash.
Trash it. Jameis.
You're drunk, bro.
That's
I
what
wish
it
him the
is.
best. I wish him the best.
I'm trashing it.
He has talent, but he's not historically great. Like,
hold on, it's John Steak. It's John Steak. Let John go.
I'm saying historically great. We know who are the historical great quarterbacks, and unfortunately for him, he's not there.
Oh, right.
Miles away from.
It's just
not even miles away.
Although he put up a lot of touchdowns, he put up just as much.
He went 30 for 30. He went 30 for 30.
You got your, you made history, bro. You got your own 30 for 30, bro.
He went 30 for 30, but when you start naming like this, like the Aaron Rodgers,
right? You start putting your name next to people.
you're gonna see like sorry, Jameis, but he still got time to change the narrative.
Yo,
He still got time.
Maybe behind Breeze, he pick up.
That was my point. That was my point.
Probably get better, but being historically great is a whole different conversation.
Right. No, Breeze won't. Breeze ain't got too many years left. Maybe under a few years under Breeze, he take over the Saints and he
do what Teddy Bridge is supposed to do.
Taysom Hill's taking over.
Taysom Hill country right there.
All right, so
they signed Jameis for a reason, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of QBs, Dak still ain't got a contract. We're trying to figure out that. And a few times ago,
never mind. Go ahead. Keep going.
Episodes ago, DQ was stating that Dak is actually one of the top 5 QBs in the league.
No, so, he said he's the best. No, he didn't say that. He said greatest quarterback for the Cowboys.
Oh, right. The greatest Cowboys quarterback. So
the GOAT QB for the Cowboys.
The GOAT for the Cowboys, America's team. So with that being said, is Dak Prescott a top 5 QB currently? In the NFL currently, right now. Is he a top 5? Johnny, trash it or bag it.
Trash it. He's not top 5.
Is he top 10?
He might be top 15.
Okay. I love where you're going, John. Dad, let me go last. Please let me go last.
All right, so I'll let you go.
He might be top 15.
Okay. So, Kev, trash in the bag. Hold on. I ain't going to you, Kev. You be hating on Dallas. So I'm going to wait for you.
It's just simple, though.
Drew, trash in the bag.
I'm going to say trash it because you definitely not top 5. I would say on the edge of top 10, probably top 15. That's where I'm giving you up.
Yeah, that. I can respect that. Kev, trash in the bag.
Why are we even doing this, bro? I'm trying to tell y'all, Dak is tripping if he think he's top 5. So is DQ. Anybody out there that think he's top 5 right now, y'all drunk, bro. Between the young boys that's still in the league and the old vets that's in the league still, bro, you're not gonna be top 5, bro. Maybe ever, but you got a world of talent, and last year you put that on tape. I'll give you that. So I could put you
top 10.
I could put him in the top 10, but he's
okay.
He's at like 9.
All
right, Eddie.
Well, I thank you for finally saying he's at least top 10. I'm not going to fully trash this. I will trash it because I put him in that like 6-7 range. I just want to throw out a few things for you guys, with the exception of Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson, right? Arguably, Patty 1, Lamar 2, Russell 2, Lamar 3.
Russell 2.
Today. So Patty, Russell, Lamar, right? With the exception of them. Let me just raise this question to you guys. Do you think that Dak Prescott is better than Deshaun Watson?
No.
Okay. No. Do you think that Dak Prescott is better than Carson Wentz? With his health.
I can say that.
Right?
Anybody can be good on health. Though.
But you have to put that into consideration. Carson Wentz has been hurt every year.
Wait, especially based on what he put on.
Dak can be hurt next season, though.
Listen, especially what he put on tape last
Dak's been healthy.
Especially after what he put on tape last year.
All right, you got
Dak is better than Carson Wentz, definitely.
Okay. Would you say that Dak is better than Ben Roethlisberger?
He's younger.
No.
He's younger. He's not better.
Would you say he's better than Roethlisberger?
No.
I can't say that.
If Big Ben's healthy, Big Ben's better.
I forgot exactly who I'm asking. I got 2 Giant fans that absolutely hate Dallas.
I'm just being
last one.
honest.
Last one. Would you say?
Wait. Do you think he's better than Big Ben?
I think he's better than Big Ben.
He's better than you think he's better than Big Ben
today? Today. I mean, so you're talking about Ben, who had a terrible year the year before he got hurt. Then also got hurt this past year. Barely played any games. He had Mason Rudolph and whatever the other guy's name is that.
Okay, I could co-sign that because I'm thinking overall, but I could co-sign that.
And Dak,
you can't talk about career-wise.
No, we're not talking. I'm not talking. If we're talking career, I think no, he's not in the top 10. If we're talking about career, I don't think he's in the top 100. If we're talking about career, I'm just saying today. If the season was to start today, that's what I'm bringing up. Would you say that he's better than Matthew Stafford? That's my last one.
No.
Yes.
No. No. I don't think
100% better than that. Well, Matthew gets a
wait,
lot of
wait.
heat though, but
yeah,
yeah.
Matt's been on that bad
But again,
team.
another part of Matthew Stafford though is
question,
injury.
If you put
Injury.
Matthew Stafford behind that Cowboys line,
Yo,
Does he get hurt?
what numbers will his numbers
he'll
look
come.
like?
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
What will
absolutely.
his numbers look like? He probably won't hit. He won't
No,
probably
Matt,
hit the drive.
I think Matthew Stafford's very good, but
He's a good quarterback.
that raises the argument. That's where I put Dak. I put him in that like 6 or 7.
Wait, Dev, can we?
Cam Newton's better than Dak too.
Cam Newton's not a starting quarterback today, unfortunately, John. I'm talking about today starting quarterback.
He's gonna be a starting quarterback. He's better than Dak.
Hopefully, but today he's not.
Unfortunately, I get what he said. Cam ain't on the team, so it's like
he's better than
no, he of course, absolutely. If he's not
around it. Cam's
and also, I'm basing this off the last 2 years, and Cam was inconsistent the year before, and he was hurt this year. So I'm only doing this in a 2-year gap. I'm not doing this.
It's not even no Cowboy hit. I'm still taking Cam over him.
Right.
You taking a Cam that you're not sure if his knee is fully healed.
I'm still taking Cam. That's how
I'm taking Dak.
That's how good I think Cam is. I'm still taking Cam.
Of course, but that's a risk.
But are you speaking as a Cam fan or?
I think he's speaking as a Giants fan.
Not even.
He said
I think
Giants fan.
Cam's not my quarterback, but I'm a big fan of Cam Newton. But Cam Newton is really talented.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna ultimately trash it, but he's in that top 7, top 8 for me, right?
As I said, top 10 might be top 15. I said that.
You said he wasn't even top 15. Dev said top 10. Dev said top 10. And you went 15.
Johnny said top 15.
I said he might be top 15, top 10, top 15.
But Johnny don't have his list in front of him, so he can't really see.
Yeah.
I picked up a list of like somebody did their own list of top 10, so it's like a couple of QBs. Obviously,
is Dak better than Matt Ryan?
Yes, I would say so. Matt Ryan chokes.
Matt Ryan a bitch, man.
Matt Ryan,
a bitch.
He has every once in a while. He has a really, really nice ball. Again, in the last 2 years, I'm not saying in the past. Dak is better than Matty Ice today. Is Dak Prescott better than Jimmy Garoppolo?
Oh, definitely.
Dak's better than Jimmy G. Yes, Dak.
Okay, and Jimmy G went to a Super Bowl. I mean, Dak better than Ryan Tannehill. Let's just go through.
Wait. Garoppolo
had a great. You played a great defense.
And a great running game.
Yeah.
Great running game. Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, he got some
receivers that can catch it
out the air.
But but John, this team is pretty much the same team. The San Francisco 49ers team that we saw last year and the San Francisco 49ers team that we saw this year is pretty much with the exception of Raheem Mostert, Deebo Samuel, and who is the wide receiver today? Emmanuel Sanders.
Jimmy
and Nick Bosa. With the exception of those guys, you're pretty much looking at the same team. Jimmy G was out last year. That team only won 3 games. This year they went to the Super Bowl.
No, Jimmy G is good, but
Jimmy G.
That's what I'm saying. But like, you can't just sit there and say that Jimmy G got there because of his defense and because of his run game. Jimmy G won them a few games here and there. Obviously, the defense and the run game helped.
He's pretty close to almost a game manager.
He looks like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's almost there. Tom Brady's not a game manager, but okay.
Tommy a game manager, man. Tommy a game manager.
We're gonna move on.
We don't want to bring up the GOAT right now.
Tommy a game manager, bro.
We're done with this. All right, that's bag of trash. We're moving on to Star Bench Cut. All right, Star Bench Cut. First one, we got Triple H, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Kane.
I'm not gonna lie, this is an easy one.
This is easy, bro.
I love all 3 wrestlers.
So Johnny,
it's super easy.
John, Star Bench Cut. Who you got?
I am starting HBK.
Okay.
I'm benching Triple H, and I'm cutting Kane. I'm a big fan of all 3 wrestlers, but it's like the way Shawn Michaels performs in the ring, like he's probably the greatest performer ever, and Triple H has always been that guy. Like Triple H.
Some would say Shawn Michaels is the showstopper, John. Some might say.
Yeah, but HBK is that guy. I love Triple H. And Triple H has always been Triple H has always been that perfect bad guy.
If I the girl,
and for Kane, like obviously you came up off the Undertaker. They used it, but he really pushed it. Like, you know, obviously it takes Undertaker, but they used the Undertaker to create the Kane character. And,
right.
And he
but
did
once he broke from being the Undertaker's brother shit, he really like became a star though. Like
he definitely became a star. Cause
he took the mask off and people was like, put it back on, bro.
Different Kane. Kane.
But Kane, I love
Not
Kane,
the same Kane.
I love Kane. But unfortunately, he's the one that gets cut.
Eddie, star bench cut.
I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. I'm not your boy. Toy. Obviously, I'm starting HBK. We went into Kane a little bit. I'm going to bench him because theme music, great. Masked Kane, Unmasked Kane, Brothers of Darkness Kane, All Kane, Fire, Chokeslam, Powerbomb, the epic matches, longevity. Cutting Triple H because fuck you sellout. Marrying Stephanie McMahon. Probably the reason trying to kill herself. Allegedly. Probably. And he's a sellout and thinks he owns WWE.
Cut that. That's
cut that out, man. Cut it.
You talking shit, but that was too much.
You Triple H.
Too much.
Nah, leave it.
Opinions shared by that man. It's not the opinions of everybody on this pod.
I went like this. I went like this.
Man, you can't be saying shit like that.
I went like this. It's true. He cheated on China with Stephanie and
he had a whole relationship after him. Bench him.
So this was easy for me. Like, obviously Shawn Michaels, I'm starting him. Cause nobody touched on it, but that Sweet Chin music, bro, is like, that's just deadly, bro. I don't care. I can watch any tape, any film, and I swear he's really kicking people like in their chin, bro. Like, seriously. Everything else looks fake now, but that shit, like, he's really putting people to sleep. Kane, I'm benching, and Triple H, like, I never liked you, bro. Like, honestly, I ain't like the way you put water in your mouth. You act like you was spitting in the air on yourself.
That is iconic, though. Everyone did it at least once, Kev. I've definitely seen you do it at least.
I definitely did that.
He's definitely water on himself.
That's iconic.
That shit's nasty, bro.
Everybody.
I definitely did that shit back in the day.
Yeah,
everybody
tripping,
did that.
Yo, wasn't there some point where Rikishi stole Stephanie from him or some shit?
Yeah, like as a joke. It probably wasn't like, you know, it was a skit.
You're a bum,
her character was supposed to get married to Tess.
Right.
Right.
Ended up getting her drunk.
Y'all remember Tess? I forgot about
Tess.
He passed away? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
A couple years ago.
Unfortunately.
But yeah, that's how the storyline went. She was supposed to get married to Tess. And Triple H, I guess, got her drunk, and he drove her
I remember that, bro.
wedding driving, and they got married. And that's how the storyline started. But then that's how they started. That's how they started messing with each other, and they became the couple.
Yeah, I remember that.
Today, I'm so over Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. I think they need to go. Give the company to Shane.
All right, star bench cut. I don't like how y'all giving my man Triple H some slack. I'm starting him, bro. For real, bro. I'm starting Triple H. I saw that. Yo,
but
I didn't see the first D-Generation X, the first iteration of D-Generation X, but the second one with Triple H as the leader, bro. You got X-Pac, you got the new Age Outlaws, bro.
Shut up, bro. Spell Generation X.
D-Generation, not Generation. D-Generation.
Shut up.
All right, so you start Triple H.
I'm benching HBK because it's just like me. HBK is a great, but I just did not see enough of him. Like, I'm giving the person that I saw enough of. Like, Triple H, I saw way more Triple H matches than I've seen of HBK matches. And then I'm just benching Kane.
No, because when Triple H was.
Wait, you cut HBK?
No,
I'm
I'm cutting
benching.
Kane. I'm benching. I'm benching.
Oh,
HBK.
I heard you say bench
Shawn
Kane.
Michaels took like a 5-year
I mean,
hiatus.
if I
in the
said that, I'm sorry. I'm benching
mid-90s,
HBK.
early
I'm cutting
2000s,
Kane.
he took a 5-year hiatus.
Yeah, because he was old.
Right. And that's the thing. That's why
He came
Shawn
back
Michaels
older.
is on my bench because when he
Mhm.
was young and was really killing like early 90s and shit, Hulk Hogan, Randy, Macho Man days and all that shit.
Bret Hart.
Bret Hart days,
Bret Hart. Yeah, we were still young.
Screwed him too. His own move.
I'm starting Triple H. Triple H, I didn't like him at first, but he grew to be that nigga. He really was that nigga for a while. For a long time, he was really that nigga.
No, Triple H.
Real. Yo, when he came back after.
Start Triple H, bench HBK, Kane. We all love you, bro. But
when he came back from his first ACL, from his first quad tear, and he made that appearance on Raw, I think it was back in like 2002.
But only thing I don't like about Triple H because he cheated my man's Goldberg and shit. Goldberg came to WWE, he was whooping everybody's ass.
Man, fuck Goldberg.
Goldberg's that guy. That's my favorite wrestler.
Your favorite what?
Wrestler. And CM Punk is gone because of Triple H. The guy from The Shield is gone because of Triple H. He's a punk. I like because of corporate Triple H. He's Triple H. I don't like corporate Triple H.
Corporate Triple H is behind NXT, and NXT is very successful.
Exactly, John.
Shut up, John. Nobody watches anymore. You do.
Star bench cut. We're going into boxing.
As good as it used to be, but still watch.
We got Mike Tyson, George Foreman, Lennox Lewis. Star bench cut. Kev, starting with you.
So I'm obviously starting Tyson because, I mean, you want somebody that's just like a animal in a ring, bro. Especially if you, we don't bet, but if you were to bet, you was betting on Tyson fights. The only thing I feel bad about is fans back then. I
definitely bet.
I really feel bad for fans that was paying for pay-per-view, hosting these big parties in their crib, and somebody to sleep in 30 seconds. Like, bro, like, you just looking around at everybody like,
shit.
Like, damn, that's it. Bro. But as far as benching, probably Lewis. I'm gonna bench him and cut Foreman. But Foreman, your grill actually like helped me out.
Damn, Kev, you stole my take.
So,
damn. I think everybody's gonna mention Who's all gonna mention that?
That grill was it, bro. But yeah.
Nah, the grill was clutch,
bro.
I'm about to go get mine right now.
All right, Eddie, star bench cut.
So this era was like I was a kid. We're all kids except for maybe Devin. Devin's like what? You're 42.
I was a kid, dumbass.
Dev got like 5 years on us. I got like 3 years on the rest of the group.
Yeah. Kev's the youngest. He's like 15. But obviously I'm gonna start Tyson. You know, broke my back, spinal, and like just like he stayed relevant in everything. And he's just been around. He had that show on Adult Swim for a little bit. Obviously, being a part of all the Hangover films, you know, and just being Tyson. Everyone knows him biting off Vander Holyfield's ear. I'm going to bench George Foreman because of the grill and because of the narcissism. I love that he named like all 8 of his kids George Foreman. That was pretty cool. And
he got a daughter named Georgia.
Georgia Foreman, probably more than likely. Yeah, I bet.
No.
And I'm gonna cut Lewis because
All right, John.
Bella Hoya was my era.
Bench cut. That's easy. Starting Tyson. Tyson's my guy. He's box office. Like, obviously, I wish his career would have turned out differently, but Tyson was must watch, like pay-per-view. You pay the money you're gonna pay to see, even though it might be over in the first couple of rounds. That's what you paid to see. That's what you want.
A couple of seconds? Nah.
Yeah.
That shit happened to me once. I would never host another fight party for him again. Ever.
But I'm definitely starting Tyson. I am benching George Foreman and I'm cutting Lennox Lewis.
All right, Drew. Star bench cut.
Starting Mike Tyson. He's not the real Alexander. I'm Alexander. I want your heart. I will eat his children. Praise be
Sound
to
like him
Allah
too.
and all that shit. That shit was my shit.
This is wild.
Nigga said, "I'll
Yeah.
fuck you until you love me." Like,
I'm the most
Oh.
ruthless, most
Oh,
ruthless
the
champion.
other one he was talking about in the interview, that he was talking about the pain he feels. He was like, I wish I could stop on your kid's testicle. Every day.
So
That's the
crazy.
pain I wake up.
Yo,
That's the pain I wake up in the morning every day.
Yo, Dev, new
Like,
Fab Five, bro. Fab Five sports quotes. That definitely.
That's good. That's not bad. I like it.
All right, save
We'll
it.
talk
Save
later.
it for
We'll
the
talk
post.
later. We'll talk later.
So, star bench cut. You starting Tyson, benching who?
I'm benching George Foreman. I'm cutting Lance Lewis.
George Foreman has a daughter named Georgetta Foreman.
I knew.
Oh my
it was something
God!
like
This
that.
narcissist.
I knew it was something like
And
that.
Love it. Love it.
It's a,
But
it's a clean. It's a clean sweep.
He also
Mike Tyson. Mike
also
Tyson's
has a
daughter's name is Mikkel.
Frida Foreman. He has a Frida Foreman.
Oh, he has a Frida.
They
What's his
don't
wife's
have-
name?
they
Frida.
don't- It's George Foreman the third. It's not that many George. He has a couple of kids, but not all of them have the George name.
I'm
Actually,
pretty
two
sure
of them-
all of them have George.
Two of them have it.
That's
That's
wild.
crazy. That's crazy.
Three. Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Four.
His names are George.
More.
Yeah.
Four. He has 6 of them.
6 kids. George.
Five George, and it's Georgetta.
Yeah.
Narcissist.
Man.
That sound like Cass
Huh? Yeah. Kev, say your whole government on you. Do it.
Kevin Maurice Keon Jett Jr.
The third.
All right, but look, that's a
50%
clean
of his
sweep.
kids got George in the name. 50%.
That's a
Six out
clean
of
sweep
12.
because I'll do the same. Mike Tyson start, bench of George Foreman, cut Lennox Lewis. All right, last one for star bench cut. We're talking collegiate championships. So we got college football and
That's
the
another
BCS.
easy one.
Then we got college basketball with the college basketball championship, and then we got college baseball, the college World Series. Star bench and cut. Eddie, going to you first.
Super easy. I hate how easy this was. We'll talk about it later. Obviously, I'm going to start the NCAA tournament because, yeah, it's March Madness. That's what everyone watches. Everyone gambles on it. Everyone has brackets and make money or lose money. Everyone loses money. I don't think I've never been one that ever
Everybody loses
won
money.
big.
Yeah.
I'm going to bench the college playoff final. Obviously, everyone watches that. Again, big stakes. One game,
BCS.
it's over. BCS all the way. And who watches the College World Series? Who watches that? Kev, you watch it?
Absolutely not.
I think I've watched it once.
Yeah.
I think I've seen some highlights from it.
Highlights. Yeah.
But I think I
Definitely.
actually watched the game for a little bit, but I was like, nah, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't even know who won in the last couple of years. So
Jenny Finch won.
who?
Jenny Finch, she plays softball.
Oh, Jenny Finch. I thought you said something Fitch won. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Drew, star bench cut. Collegiate championships.
Basically the same. The basketball championship, football, and then I'm benching football, and then I'm cutting baseball. Like it's just really nothing else to say about it. I'm kind of just where it's at with me. There you go.
All right, Johnny, star bench cut.
I am cutting the College World Series. Nobody watches that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the real fans that watch that. That's cool, but nobody watches that. I'm benching, obviously, the football championship. I'll watch that. It's entertaining, but that's getting benched. But it's not as exciting as, college basketball championship, and that's what I'm starting.
All right, Kev.
Best cut.
Last but not least, star bench
So
cut.
I'm benching the college basketball championship.
Okay.
I'm starting football, and again, nobody watches the college World Series. Sorry to say that. Don't they don't even use wood bats, right? They're still using aluminum.
They still use aluminum, which I think is ridiculous. So
doesn't
D1,
make any
which
sense
is the
to me.
highest level, they use aluminum. D2 uses wood. D3 uses wood.
It makes no sense.
No sense.
So-
anyway.
Yeah, I gotta do better. Sorry. Slow for
All
that.
right, again, starting basketball. I don't really care for college football. That should be boring too. It'd be OD, like none
cares?
really happen college. But I'll bench that.
Now, by the time they get to the championship games, any of the bowls,
there's some classic championship
Yeah,
games.
but
it don't be like it'd be too much scoring for me. It's like
right.
defense.
I'm really just looking at the two quarterbacks playing, the running backs, the wide receivers, the quarterback.
Right.
Like, is this kid going to come out in the draft, and where's he going to fall?
He gonna be nice in the league type shit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And cutting baseball. I don't even watch the pros. What the fuck? Why would I watch
just so you guys know, we just disrespected Vanderbilt University, who won the college baseball World Series last year.
Good job.
They beat Michigan 8-2 and they swept them in Game 3. Swept them.
So that's 3-0. That's 3-0 out of 5.
That's not a 5.
Good job,
man. Y'all did y'all thing. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start bitch cut. All right, let's get into Fab Five.
Woo!
To me, Fab Five has been our best segment, at least.
It's our favorite.
Yeah, it's our favorite segment. Eddie threw this one out. Eddie's always clutch, with the ideas. He shot
Sometimes.
down. He told me, he hit me up. He like, Johnny shit is trash, bro.
I didn't say that.
My shit was actually better than this segment.
It wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It wasn't.
He was like,
we're back.
Yes, it's trash. His ideas is trash. I got one for you. I said, damn, Ed, why you gotta be so tough on my son? Like, all right, I like your idea, right? For the moment, I like that one more. So we're gonna go with top 5 sports games.
Yes.
We can go from Neo Geo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, and N64, Xbox, whichever game system you had and whatever game you love, it needs to be on this list. So we're doing the 5 sports games. This should be interesting. And again, I don't want to hear Madden. I don't want to hear 2K. What year? Because especially with 2K, them shits be trash.
I'm saying we could definitely do that.
Be trash enough.
Future one where we just do the
we
franchise.
The franchise, we can do that. That could be a future one.
We can do the all-time game franchises, but that not on this.
Not today.
So top 5 sports games. At number 5, Eddie, what do you have?
I'm gonna go with the first sports game I ever played in my entire life. It's easy.
NBA Jam.
Boom shakalaka.
Right.
Right. NBA Jam.
It's a classic. It's not on my list, unfortunately, but it's definitely one of the first sports games.
Because it was the first game I ever played.
Yeah.
That's why I had to be on it. Out of respect.
NBA Jam 99. Cool.
Well, they got the NBA Playgrounds game that's sort of like NBA Jam.
Yeah, I didn't play that.
Yeah.
Out of respect for NBA Jam.
Out of respect.
There can only be one.
No, it's crazy. Oh, that game's actually cross-platform.
It's what?
That playground game is cross-platform, so you can play.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Other systems.
Nice.
That's a cross-platform game.
So, since you got the floor, what you got at number 5?
At number 5, I got NFL 2K5 with T.
Oh, good pick, John.
T.O.
Yeah, T.O. on it. It was technically ESPN NFL 2K. That's when it was cool because you had the ESPN announcers, all that.
That was the last.
Is that when it was? That's when it was like $20.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's when. Oh, remember when games were $20?
But yeah,
these kids don't know shit paying $90 for games.
But yeah, NFL 2K5. It sounds crazy saying that. That shit was 15 years ago. What the?
Yeah, we're old, dude.
I care. What you got at number 5?
My number 5 is my first game that I ever had, like my basketball game. I think I had it for the PlayStation 1. It was NBA Live 98.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Tim Hardaway was on the cover. Yeah, we can fact check
I'm
that.
not glad.
Yeah. We'll put it on there.
But
I'm gonna have to cover
look it up. I'm gonna mention it and you just put it there.
NBA, what year, Kev?
98.
98.
Drew,
NBA
get out your
Live
nose.
98.
Drew, get out your nose. At number 5.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway.
Why you gotta blast me like that? But this is my first NBA Live game. NBA Live 05 with Carmelo Anthony on the cover. That was my shit. I like that game for real.
Nah,
that
game
shit
was
is
What the hell
fire.
you?
that was fire.
Yo.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie,
That
those
was
3
fire.
years probably the best 3 years of NBA Live from 04 to 06.
Yo.
04,
That's
04,
Yeah,
05.
that was a good game. That was a good year for EA. Period.
yeah.
Those
05
are
was iconic.
those are the things.
05, that shit was
Exactly, bro.
all right, so all right, number 5, I going to the PlayStation. I got WWF SmackDown, number 1.
The first one. Okay.
The first one. That's my number 5. Although I was a big N64 fan, but when they put SmackDown on PlayStation, that shit was fire. So that's my number 5. Eddie, number 4.
My number 4 is not the first baseball game I played on a console. Actually, the first one I loved on a console. I'll get to that one later. But I got MVP Baseball 2005 with my boy Manny Ramirez on the cover. Probably one of the best baseball games. Manny was on. No, Manny.
Pudge?
Manny.
Manny Pudge. All right, John, what you?
Yeah,
what you
05
got
had
number
Manny.
Was Manny?
What you got at number 4?
At number 4, I made a slight change, but I went with NBA Live 2006. The one with Wade on the cover. 04, 05, 06 was great live, but
no, they
05 introduced they brought the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, I was doing that every day for
06 had that, and then but 06 added like the high flyer, the inside scorer.
Right. Yeah,
So it added that feature. Great game. But like I said, that was probably Live's best 3 years. 04 to 06. Best 3 years.
All right, Kev, what you got at number 4?
So I got 2 because I don't know if one counts. So if it doesn't count, I'm just gonna say it anyway. But if it does, I wanted to stay. Need for Speed Underground. Does that count as a sports game?
No,
it's racing.
No, that's not a sport.
Okay, all right.
It ain't NASCAR.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So then my number 4 is NBA Street.
Speed.
Okay. NBA Street.
Yeah,
NBA Street. Good. Yeah.
That
do with the pro on the cover?
Yeah, that was my shit.
Yeah, and that's that shit. AD, what you got at number 4?
Number 4 is going to be WWF No Mercy on the N64 console.
Great game.
Bro,
Great game.
Just like I was whipping everybody ass with Triple H. That was my character, bro. And the storyline and the story mode.
Of the older games.
Story mode was dope.
Yeah. Only thing
it was so choppy though. It's a blocky game.
About those games is because it started, and I was a WWE fan. This shit started with WWE, with the NWO versus, WCW, NWO World Tour. Then you got No Mercy. WWF wanted to come over and shit, and
it was there's one to make a game.
Yeah,
because WCW had that. WCW had the Thunder
Yeah, they had their own game. Nitro, Thunder.
Trash.
They had a lot of games. N64 was a dope console. Very underrated console, the N64. Doesn't get enough credit as it should.
All right, and number 4, piggybacking off Kev, except I don't know if he was talking about NBA Street 1 or 2, but for me,
first one,
my number 4 is NBA Streets Volume 2.
Volume 2 is the better one, in my opinion, too. I agree.
Really good ones. Good ones.
But 2, you could do the triple, like throw up and shit. Like,
yeah.
No, that shit was fire, man. That shit was too hard. All right. That shit is my number 4. That shit is like,
that's a game that, like, yo, if you didn't have it figured out, like, you always thought the person was cheating until, like,
that's why you have game breakers.
We used to be up all night playing that shit, man.
And Volume 2 also had the better fucking soundtrack, too. It had, like, a lot of Tribe Called Quest songs on there. It had the Black Sheep song. It had like, good, like, old school hip-hop. Real hip-hop.
Nah, that shit was fire. All right, Ed, what you got at number 3?
My number 3, I'm surprised that Drew, you're an asshole. So I'm gonna change it to SmackDown versus Raw. WWE SmackDown versus Raw. I remember.
Nobody was gonna say that game, bro.
It's because I told you that earlier. That's the only reason why you put it on there. It should have been No Mercy.
No, it wasn't. I had that video game. Don't deny me. I had that game. That was my shit.
Yeah, SmackDown versus Raw.
Yo, simmer down, bro.
John, number 3, what you got?
At number 3, I have Fight Night Round 2. The Fight Night games was definitely good games.
Yeah. And B-Hop is my favorite boxer.
Fight Night round 2 with B-Hop. That was a great.
The execution.
Yeah,
Man.
round 2 and round 3 I had. That
I
was cool.
think
I don't
round
even
4 was the
remember
last
round
one.
3.
Round 4 was the last one I bought.
Nah,
And then
I don't even remember round. There
round
was a round
2.
4.
Round 4 they
you
put
went to
Tyson in the
fighting and
game.
shit.
Round 4 had
Huh.
Tyson in it.
I remember round 2 and round 3.
I
Those
think
my
round
shit.
2 was the last game, last boxing game to have Floyd in it. After that,
I got another honorable mention. Thanks, John.
All right, Kev, what you got at number 3?
3, right?
Yeah.
So number 3 is just iconic. It didn't matter like where you like came from, your background, or anything like that. Like everybody had it at some point. So it's definitely the Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yup.
Damn, Kev.
Whenever
Great pick.
which
Great
one?
pick.
Which one,
Great pick.
Kev? Which
Yeah,
one?
which one, Kev?
Which one?
I like the second one, but I have the
2.
original
Yeah,
on my list.
Kev.
But
2.
as soon as like my grandmother would leave the room, like immediately I would put blood on, like for when he would be like bashing up on stuff, like
Yeah.
crashing, because you know they had the PG where he could turn the blood off,
Right.
and the blood
That
didn't
Mortal
look like,
Kombat setting.
and the blood didn't look like nothing, bro. Back then it was just like
A splat.
bad Hollywood blood,
Yeah.
like it was ridiculous.
Nah, that's a dope pick, man. Kev, I like where you going with your picks. Drew, what you got at number 3?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. That was
Pro
my
Skater 3?
shit, bro.
That was the worst one.
That's the one he liked. That's the one he liked.
Okay.
3 was the worst one, bro.
Yo,
Like
it's my
1.
pick.
4 was better than 3.
It's not neither one of y'all's is mine. That's
It's
my
okay.
number
Drew.
3 game.
Nah, you're right.
Yo,
You're right.
chill.
Tell him all fuck off, Drew. Tell him
Yo,
all
real quick for Drew, bro. The first one, it's the classic, but the first one
Right.
had like parts of it that was like Grand Theft Auto. Like you couldn't go certain places in that shit.
Right.
You would just be
Right.
pedaling into like empty space.
Yep.
Yo,
The
don't be
second
worried
one?
though. When it
Second
comes out
one?
to be
Oh my God. Second
Oh,
one.
yeah,
remastered both 1 and 2
Yeah,
when they come
they're
out
gonna
in September,
reissue.
I'm
Yeah.
copping, bro.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Yeah.
copying.
Hell yeah.
Number 3 on my list is Tony
I'm about to go pre-order.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2.
Tripping.
I don't give a fuck about the rest of them. 2
Word.
was the shit. Shout out to my nigga Bam Margera. And shout out to
That's
my
right.
nigga Terry Kennedy. Because there was my TK. There was my characters in there. So
Yeah, Bam.
Was
No.
that kid Nia Johnson?
Bam, Bam also before Viva La
Bam.
Bam too. We were
Yeah,
always on Bam.
I've been a
Yeah,
big
Bam was
fan,
was
bro.
the truth.
Yo, every once in a while, Bam, I'm sorry, bro. I be sending you like snake DMs and shit from when I see crazy snake videos, yo.
I just hope they have the original soundtrack on the.
Oh, I know. I know.
They did say they
They-
got the
they
original
probably
soundtrack.
upgrade
So
that.
Honestly,
that's
that got
definitely happening.
that game got
That
me
was
into white boy music.
yeah.
I honestly
Yeah, that
would
was-
not be
that was
banging
exactly
white boy
happening.
music if it wasn't for
It's a lot of
Tony
good
Hawk.
songs. It's a
Nah,
lot
that
of good
song,
songs
what's-
on Tony Hawk.
What's that song? It was like Headstrong to Take You On. That's
Crap.
in that.
That's
Yeah.
all to take on anyone.
That song goes hard.
No, that shit was fire.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think Bodies Hit the Floor is in that too.
Yes, they're called Bodies
It's
at
a
the
lot
Floor.
of it's a lot of dope
A
songs.
lot
on
of
that
a lot of classic Blink 182 was in that shit,
A lot
bro.
of punk rock. A lot of punk
Y'all
rock.
should know that I don't know the artist to either one of those two songs, but I know those songs because of that
Yo,
game.
I'm about
Right.
to go and listen to Headstrong after this.
I'm about to listen to the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack.
I get
Alright,
why
so-
they be moshing, bro. I'm not with it, but I get it. I
Alright.
get
I get it.
it.
Yeah, and number 2, what you got on our 5-5 sports?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Easy.
Number 2.
Yeah, number two.
Yo, that shit is classic, bro. I can't wait till that.
Yeah, the
shit
soundtrack, the just the overall game, the cheat codes. I think that was like one of the first games that like actually had cheat codes. Like
Either that or GTA.
That was fun.
GTA.
No, but I'm saying like in the Tony Hawk franchise.
Bro.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Johnny,
Yeah.
what you got at number 2?
My number 2 is WWE 2K14.
You like the 2K games, huh?
Right.
To me, I think 2K14 was the best, and every other game, every other year's been hit or miss in the 2K series. But 2K14, I just have a lot of funny stories. This game I played, for a whole bunch of people. You could have 6 people on one console playing. Everybody talking shit. We had the most fun. A lot of funny stories. That's why WWE.
That was the best part about No Mercy. You could have like 4 guys looking all at one screen and going in different angles. You're like, what are you doing?
But WWE 2K14, 6 people. Because remember back in the SmackDown days, you had to have especially if you had PlayStation, you had to have the shit to plug in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The Ethernet.
There's a lot.
No, not the Ethernet. The shit.
No, the things with the extra ports.
Oh, right. Oh my God, those were terrible.
Yeah, you had to plug that shit in to get everybody else. Right. But the 2K14, I had it for Xbox. And you just sync the controllers in, and everybody just go at it.
But like Ed said though, like No Mercy.
That's your Xbox plug.
Those N64 games when you 4 people playing, like that shit used to be fire. Royal Rumble and Battle Warriors and shit.
Yeah, of course.
That shit used to be.
But now imagine that with 2 extra people.
Of course.
But to me,
it's more like nostalgic vibes though.
Out of the 2K series, I think 2K13 or 2K13 was the first in the 2K series, but I think 2K14 was the best one out of all of them.
All right. All right, Kev, what you got at number 2?
Number 2, I got Madden 2004 with Vic on the cover.
Yo.
Good shit, Kev.
Bro.
Best soundtrack. Best Madden soundtrack, period.
Good shit.
Killer Mike, all over that shit.
Yeah. This was hard for me. I bounced between 04 and another one. But
I think I know what it is. Let me guess it.
AD.
Yo. I got my first ever NBA 2K that I ever bought on here. Okay, 2K9 with Kevin Garnett on the cover. That was my shit. I love that game so much, bro.
I didn't like none of the 2K games past 2005 or so.
That 2005?
2K was
what you talking about?
2K
you said NBA Live.
2K.
Oh, you said Live?
No, it's 2K9.
2K9 with Garnett.
You said 9.
With Garnett.
I'm just saying I haven't liked the 2K game since like 2K5, 2K.
So you're definitely not gonna like my number 1 then.
Okay. Damn. So my number 2, I bounced between Mad 04
and Madden 06.
Yes.
Boom. That was a really good game. That was a really good game.
That's when they put the QB light in and shit.
Yep. No, that was before that, John.
QB Vision was 04. In 2006 is when they added the truck stick and they added like the player skills and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I put 2006 as my number 2, although 04 is the first Madden I think of when I think of Madden. 04 is the first thing that come to mind.
I thought 06 was the one where they actually had the light, so you had paying man.
No, that was 04.
Like
that was 04.
Yeah.
The
QB
that was
04.
QB Vision.
Yeah.
The QB Vision.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the QB Vision for Vic and that was like nothing.
Yeah. Well, because you expect it to run.
Everybody that played with Vic ran.
No, but bro, I
threw the ball with Vic.
I think I had 2
you
plays
chucked it. You chucked it.
Yeah,
I'm about to get tapped. Just chuck that. I'm about to get caught. Other than that, you're running.
My little brother lame ass used to put Vic at receiver and shit just because he had speed. He was like, he would put him at receiver and just Hail Mary it and Vic run it down and shit. Like,
I think it was a screen pass that I would always burn people with. I was either dumping it to Warwick Dunn, or I would just roll out and be up the field. I had 3 receivers running like deep routes on that.
They had Algie Crumpler, the tight end.
Crumpler, yeah.
Crumpler, he was good and shit. But I picked Madden 06. I actually won the Madden tournament for the 04. I almost got it beat up because the nigga said I kept doing one play.
Yeah, so what? That's all you had to do.
That's what you had to do back in the day.
Yo, I had the Vikings, and this was Dante and Randy, and all I did was
throw it up.
All that shit. Yo, but he was cooking everybody in the tournament until he played me. He like, nigga, you doing one move, you doing one. He was old nigga ready to like fight me and shit. I'm like, damn, bro, stop it. You know what I'm about to do, like.
Bro, you was even doing that to us in college, bro.
Words. That's
same play, running up the middle.
Run up the middle or run it deep.
Vertical, running, do the fake this and just go inside.
What Madden was that? That was 11 we was playing?
11, 12, 10.
No, I only had like 4 plays. I still only got like 4 plays. But that's what it is.
And my PS3 broke and we had to get one like 2 days later.
Word. You was clutch, Kev. You helped us get through college. All right, number one. Let's get into number one. Eddie, what's your number one?
Madden 04. Madden 04. Madden 04. I mean, there's no. I mean, again, with the soundtrack and the vision and it's just so much fun. Like it's so good. And Killer Mike shouted out my boy Santana Moss when he was catching the ball. So that was a lyric on one of the songs.
All right, Eddie. I'm sorry, Johnny. Number one.
My number one was tough, but I went with NBA Streets Volume 2.
Yeah, John.
Number one.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, Streets is a great game, especially like Eddie was saying, that soundtrack was fire.
Yeah,
and then you go into the different parks and shit. Yo, that shit was tough. Hi, Kitty. What's up, Kitty Cat?
Yeah, Cat one.
Oh.
He just woke up. Oh, my Lord. Well,
Johnny, get your pussy out of
want to see
bro.
Coco? Kiko?
Coco's disrespectful.
I'm trying to see if my cat will jump up. She won't do it.
Y'all goofies.
He about to jump back up.
Kev.
Gotta let him out.
Yeah, I feel like my number one is like, this shit's easy, bro. So, Nick, NFL Street, bro. Yeah,
you like him. Street over Madden, though? That's...
Streets was fun, though. Streets was super fun.
You know how fun NFL Street was?
It was fun, but it was like too easy.
Nah, I don't care about it being too easy because it wasn't always too easy. It wasn't always too easy, especially if you did like.
What was your number one? My bad.
NFL
Street.
If you did
that was a great game. It's one of my
If you did 7-on-7s, bro, NFL Street was.
I think the first one was better than the second one.
The first one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you was able to, run on walls.
Yeah, so was wild.
NFL Street was a great game.
Nah, it is.
The Street, that whole Street series is just a great series.
Why'd they stop that? They should remaster those.
Because then they made soccer, and that's when it went left.
Well, if I'm correct,
well, also
right?
like licensing.
Yo, hold up. If I'm correct, if I get a PS5, I could get my NFL Street out the closet, right, and play it in the PS5.
No, that's what I was talking about earlier. They don't they only allow certain games for backwards capability, which is backwards generation.
No, but they need to remaster a lot of.
That's what we said. Remaster, yeah, that'd be cool.
I'll buy it. NFL Street remastered, no problem.
All right, Drew, what you got at number one?
Yo, it's classic time. The 2K11 NBA with Michael Jordan on the cover with them Jordan challenges, bro. I used to do all them shits all day, every day.
I never played it.
Don't get me wrong.
Play 2K11, bro.
Yo, don't get me wrong, Drew. I'm not gonna come for you right now. I'm gonna help you out. Don't get me wrong. I have that. I own that one. I've played it maybe twice, but I only bought it because it was the last time they were going to put MJ on the cover. And it was the first time since 96 or 8 that he was on the cover of anything. No, it couldn't have been 98.
All right, bro.
I don't know. 2K,
I got it.
2K been trash a long time for me. I got 2K.
I agree.
Okay, it's y'all opinions. It's y'all opinions. It's mine, though. But y'all can have it. So,
number one, I'm going to go to another NBA game, probably the greatest NBA game to ever be made, and that's NBA Live 2006.
I knew you were going to say that, too. I felt it.
No, 06 was a great game. Me and Dev know, like, Live was really – Live had a run.
Yeah, Live was the game, man. And again, they took everything from 04 and 05 and just made it better. Then everybody had their skills and shit at this point. Like,
I'm not. One of the funniest things I've ever seen was like if you had the high fly, you would dead ass jump over Yao, man.
Yeah,
you'll clear him how Vince Carter cleared him in real life. The 7-footer real life, you'll clear Yao.
Jason Richardson, fucking Richard Jefferson. They asked to just take off from anywhere and shit. Like, I used to love that game. So NBA Live 2006, number one on my list. And this was 5-5. Thank you guys for playing again. Once we get off air, we're gonna discuss our next one. Keep watching our show and shit. If you got any suggestions for 5-5, leave a comment.
Yeah, please.
Comment.
We're running out of ideas.
Yeah, we'll take in consideration your ideas. Johnny got a lot of them. They're not good, but he got a lot of them. So,
mine's is actually good.
At some point,
it's
we're gonna
not a democracy, people.
So
you voted against me.
Please help us, because we're gonna have to use Johnny's ideas.
You want to go through some honorable mentions? Or anybody got any?
I just started with some crazy one, but I'm not with this one. But it'll be a good idea, but I'm not really with it.
You're not with it, but you thought you wilding.
I thought of a crazy Fab Five idea, but I'm not.
Wilding.
The visual is not gonna be as appealing.
All right, we'll talk about it in post.
Let's get into some honorable mentions.
I'll go if nobody's gonna go.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Triple Play 99, MLB The Show 09, FIFA 10, Ready to Rumble, King Griffey Jr. Slugfest,
Ready to Rumble,
NFL Blitz.
Blitz.
Or you just murdered people.
NFL Fever. NFL Fever on Xbox.
Yeah, I played
FIFA
Blitz
with
a few
Xbox
times.
with Peyton Manning on it.
Backyard baseball. Shout out Pablo, best player on the whole shit.
Backyard baseball though was the only one.
I played the backyard basketball one.
Mario Kart 64, guys.
Yeah, but I thought we couldn't use that because I got that here.
Does that count?
That was going to be my number 3.
Does Forza Horizon count?
That don't count.
Forza is
I'm not gonna lie. Another honorable mention is NFL 2K. Hockey games is fun as shit. The hockey games.
NHL. I thought you said NFL. I was like, you had ESPN. I didn't say. Dev, you said just regular SmackDown. Know your role. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Both those were great. Just Bring It. Oh, I forgot about Just Bring It.
Yo, WrestleMania 2000.
I remember. I don't know which one it was. If it was Just Bring It or Shut Your Mouth. But like, obviously, every time The Rock did the People's Elbow, he would take like it was one of them where like he would just take off the same one. Every game he would take the same one off. But in one of them, if you took off both, if he hit the People's Elbow 3 times, he would go like this. He would go like that, and he'd go.
And then he'll do the.
He'll do it anyway. Yeah. That's all I had. Anybody else?
Any other?
Trying to think. What's another honorable mention? So many sports games.
Oh! I got one more. Does this one count? It's tricky to rock around. That's right, all time. It's tricky. SSX. SSX tricky. Come on.
Great game.
Another honorable mention is Dave Mirra BMX.
Matt Hoffman.
Matt Hoffman's was good too.
So I got the best one. The best one, the most interactive of all the sports games that was
Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Yeah, Wii Sports.
That shit.
What about Just Dance? Does that count?
What is it?
No.
Just Dance.
No.
Yeah, that counts.
No.
Dance Revolution.
That Wii Sports is lit though. I don't understand. I think all those videos on the internet of like kids and people breaking TVs, they was just mad at their parents, bro. Cause I ain't never lost the controller trying to hit a home run, bro.
Nah, you lose grip. If you really into the game, you lose the grip.
Maybe
baseball players lose grips in the back.
Maybe you're clumsy
I never broke nothing, but man, baseball players lose grips in the back.
That was 5-5. Thank you guys for playing.
We're making great time.
Yeah, and again, if you got any suggestions, put them in the comments. We're gonna get into the last segment, and this is ESPN 30 for 30, Long Gone Summer. This covers a great time in baseball. One of the few times that I actually enjoyed watching baseball because you had the I want to pump you up fucking Mark McGwire and Seth, right, the steroid era, Jason Giambi. These were these guys though, like these was really these dudes at this time. So it's about Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and their chase for the home run record, correct? That's what
Yeah. Which was at the time was 71.
Yeah, so
it was 61.
61. Sorry. I don't know why I said 71. I apologize. That was very.
And this was post the Jordan era. This was like the end of the 90s, 98, around that time.
It's time for Chicago to blow up too. How crazy is that?
It was around the same time.
I didn't think about it.
No,
so Jordan retires and then Sammy does what he does.
That's what I'm saying. It's at the end of that Jordan era, that 98 year is when. And again, that's what I'm saying. It was a great year for Chicago sports because we knew the Jordan era was over, and now we get a little bit even because nobody was a Cubs fan, but when Sammy came, doing all that shit, everybody was checking it out. So, Long Gone Summer, Kev, What's your thoughts?
Honestly, it was lit. You know what I mean? Like just the whole documentary itself. I think it pays a lot of tribute to both McNair and him and Sosa, just because
McNair. Who the hell is
McGuire.
McGuire. Sorry. It pays homage to both of them because
rest in peace, my nigga Steve McNair.
for real. Yo, but McGuire, sorry, but it pays homage to both of them very well because they had so much footage of them handling that time period like gracefully, like embracing each other and stuff like that, and it just shows how sports can connect so many different people, like they're from different backgrounds.
Right.
I am the least bit concerned with that being the steroid era, only because like so many people were saying like, bro, the MLB didn't have any rules or regulations or anything like that in place.
There was a lot of people doing it.
It wasn't illegal yet.
Don't say that's why Alters for them to look at them as cheaters.
I mean,
not cheating is allowed.
Yeah, I don't look at them as cheaters at all. I think what they did, if I was more like just foundationally looking at baseball back then, I would have loved it. I would have enjoyed it, but I was super young, probably like 6 or 7 or something like that. But it was dope. It was dope to see.
It was definitely a great time, man.
I was definitely 7. Ed was like 10, and Dev was 12.
I was 8.
And
I was
10.
I was 7.
And I have a problem with I have a problem with Sammy Sosa because, bro, he's mad.
He disowned us. He doesn't want to be one of us.
Sketchy, bro. Like just him not trying to answer and then having a little temper tantrum and like dipping on the reporter and stuff like that. Like, bro, like you're obviously lying. Why you don't want to just answer the question? And he's like, oh, it's my lotion. I like my face to be smooth and clean in the morning. Like, bro, it looked like he got like a cake of foundation on. Like, nah, I'm good, bro. And then I think we were touching on this earlier, but there's certain like clips where like, his skin tones ain't matching. Like his neck is this color, his skin is
a couple of close-ups. He looks, like old Sammy. Still looks like shit.
He looked like pudding.
Yeah.
Oh, the pudding with the light.
It looked like straight pudding.
But overall, it was dope. It definitely was. It was good to see.
Well, again. I'm gonna throw it to you again. They talk about the steroids and shit in this era. Now, I didn't know because Sammy touched on it a little bit. He wasn't really saying much, but there was 161 cases players taking steroids. Only 4 of the players are actual Hall of Famers that actually did anything historic.
That's what Sammy said. He didn't mention no names, but Sammy was like, players that tested positive. He said that they put the attention on him and Mark.
And Mark, right. So the only person that knows that full list is the guy that wrote that article in the New York Times.
Right. So throwing it to you, Ed, do you think this era actually deserve an asterisk? A lot of people put their asterisk on this era because of the steroid scandals. But to me, it's like fucking Lance Armstrong now. If everybody's doing it, don't get mad at me because I'm just better. Naturally,
you gotta be good.
That's another really good point that I wanted to make. I'm sorry. It's literally sure. Like it's making maybe it's making them physically like stronger and faster, or even pushes their endurance. Let's say, but this is one of the only sports that, bro, at the end of the day, if your hand-eye coordination ain't there, nobody trying to hear it. Like,
don't matter how big you are, you still have to.
I'm looking at it. I'm like,
you could be
hand-eye coordination.
Big as you want and strike out like 20 times for the
season. Real.
Right. So steroids ain't slowing down the ball for you and shit. Like
no. Coke was for Babe Ruth for sure, but definitely not. And that's my argument, right? So I don't put an asterisk on this.
Definitely, like he ain't know that Babe was on Coke.
Most of these players, again, rumored, allegedly, whatever you want to say it, they were taking these, performance enhancing drugs, steroids, whatever you want to call it, creatine, whatever. Because they were taking creatine. Like creatine, everyone uses now. Bodybuilders use it. People use it in their regular day life. Everyone uses it. If you think that it's not used in the NFL and the NBA, creatine. Like
everyday life.
genuinely go to like if you work out and you go to the gym and you like people take creatine. There's energy drinks with creatine in it now.
Yeah, a lot of
You probably don't know it's in there, but it's in there. But again, I don't think you should taint it because a lot of these guys were doing this because it was regulated, and I don't want to say that everyone was doing
legal. It was legal. It wasn't regulated.
It was legal. It wasn't regulated, and a lot of these guys they weren't doing it because everybody else was doing it. A lot of these guys in this time, and again, I won't speak for the later steroid era. Your Alex Rodriguez's guys. These are guys that are for durability, so that they don't get hurt during the season. The MLB is a grueling season. You're talking about 162 games.
Yeah.
You're playing 180 days in a row with spring training and the playoffs if you keep going. You know what I mean? Like it's a grueling season. You're to be able to hit multiple home runs in a season is insane. And definitely to Kev's point as well, you still have to make contact with the ball. It don't matter how big you are. I could take steroids today. I'm not hitting a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. There's no shot I'm going to do it.
Right.
And then to Mark's credit, and he was always a home run hitter. We're looking at his rookie year, skinny Mark McGwire. His rookie year hit 49 home runs, was the rookie of the year, and pretty much created the record that's now been broken by Aaron Judge and now Pete Alonso for most home runs by a rookie in an MLB season. So shout out to the local boys. But no, I honestly, and it's sad that and baseball holds itself to this like pedestal where it's just like, oh, it's traditional, and it's like, you have to follow the rules of baseball, and like, your grandfather didn't play that way. It's like, yeah, like I said, your grandfather was blowing coke and smoking cigarettes on the field. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're gonna tell me that? Like, and now they're calling this the juice ball era. It's never been, what the integrity of baseball that these people, all the baseball gods are always shining down on us. What these guys did for the game was huge. Like you said, Dev, you don't watch baseball, but you remember that. Yeah. I remember that race fully. They
saved baseball.
They saved baseball after a lockout, which, by the way, how weird is that they started with the 94 lockout, and here we are in 2020 with potentially another lockout, COVID, blockout, whatever you want to call it. But no, I'm all for keeping kids shouldn't look at athletes as, I can't wait to be you when I grow up. These guys carry themselves with respect. Just because they do a couple of performance drugs doesn't mean they're bad guys. You have athletes that have committed murders. You have athletes that have done bad things, drinking and driving. All the things that they've done. We've seen these guys go away. We've seen these guys do bad things.
Because they're fucking human.
Exactly. People are human. These guys were just trying to stay healthy. In my opinion, and again, this was then. I'm not talking about the mid 2000s.
Another point to add, they're also competitors, so they're looking for an edge to increase their get like a step ahead of the competition. Basically, if it's legal and it's a substance that can help, whatever,
make you better, right?
Of course, why not?
As long as it's legal, it's not cheating the game. It's legal, but it's different if it's illegal, obviously, but it's not. So. I feel like that changes like narrative and perspective of how it's going.
And baseball clearly forgive though. Look at Alex Rodriguez. He's now on MLB Network. He's on Fox. He's doing everything. Obviously, he did steroids, all the bad stuff that he did. Pete Rose, which I think is the worst thing that you could have done for Major League Baseball, betting against your team or for your team during that whole Black Sox scandal. MLB has invited him back. He's on MLB Network. He's doing what he's got to do.
Real?
Mark McGwire, Mark McGwire has been forgiven. He's the batting coach of the San Diego Padres. And again, we make fun of Sammy for what he's done to himself and not wanting to be Dominican or whatever it is, or, whatever the hell he's doing with dyeing his face white. I don't know what he's doing. Looks like little Kim now. But, I didn't know that the Cubs have not invited, and again, he had his problems after the steroid era with the cork bats and all the, it ended really, really bad with him in the Cubs. But the fact that he hasn't been forgiven and hasn't been to Wrigley Field in 20 years, that's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
What they did for the sport at that time, they were the top guys. We'll go through what they did and during that chase. But you're looking at Sammy Sosa he's in the top 5 of most home runs in a single season. Did it Sammy did it in 01, 99, and then 93. So he had 61 and 90 and 61 and 01, 63 and 99, and then obviously 66 and
98.
So the fact that he hasn't played is fucking. I mean, been invited back is stupid.
Johnny, what's your thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie, it's like one of my first memories of watching baseball. That's probably one of the funniest. I said funny, funnest seasons to watch. Like the years I've been watching baseball, that was one of the most fun seasons to watch, and it was just enjoyable. You know, everybody was watching the race. Like, who's gonna get it? Sammy. The back and forth, like it put like people in the stand. Like for the small market teams that didn't have people going to the game when they showed up.
They were making money. They were making money that season. These small markets, they were selling out.
They really boosted. And then the one time when they mentioned like how in the first inning, Mark McGwire got mad and he got ejected and the fans went
that was crazy.
Like, I can't imagine that, bro.
It was when
that was when Sammy actually took the record from him. Sammy
he took the lead. He took
the lead at 66. And that's when Sammy stopped. So how crazy is that? That was the last home run Sammy hit.
But those close-ups, but those close-ups, bro, he looked like he was on some roids, bro. He was like, nah, I ain't moving. Yo, you fucking ref. Like,
that's every day, though, bro. I mean, players hate refs.
Umpires.
And we should note, John, that it really was a bad call. It was down and out.
Definitely
100%. Down and outside the zone. It definitely was.
But I want to say, I feel like the steroid era gets the bulk of the blame. I'm pretty sure before it was the steroid era, people was using steroids because there was no rules against it. It wasn't that they just started using it. Other people were probably using it for a couple of years. And
that shit didn't come out of nowhere. They didn't invent that shit.
Steroids was invented in 1935. Anabolic steroids was invented in Germany in 1935. So in all those years, I'm pretty sure eventually somebody came up to, I take this, it's gonna boost me and do this and that.
Right.
So there's a whole, like, not to question that whole history in sports, but there's a whole long period in years where people could have been using it because it wasn't illegal at the time.
Right. Again, a lot of players during the offseason, they were working with personal trainers. They was teaching them how to get bigger, and these weightlifters were showing them this is what we use to get bigger. Again, that doesn't help your hand-eye coordination. That doesn't make you a better player.
But so, I'm not gonna lie. There was a player who did say he took a performance enhancer to make his vision better.
Word.
That's called LASIK eye surgery.
Yeah,
bro, we gotta prove that.
There was he said it. He said it himself. And I'm not.
I don't care if he said it.
Yeah, it could be a placebo, dude. Like if a drug dealer is like, yo, dude, like, yo, this shit will make your eyes, your vision better.
It was a performance enhancer. It technically still is a performance enhancer, and it increased the person's vision.
And see, they take cases like that because he said it. Like, see, look, this is what it does. So everybody is like, we putting that asterisk towards everybody because again, there was a lot of players taking them. But a lot of them still wasn't good. It was a lot of trash-ass players taking PEDs. So it's like, what did that say?
You can take as many drugs as you want and still be a terrible player. So
Drew, let's get your thoughts on Long Gone Summer.
Long Gone Summer, my thoughts is like it was great. Like I watched the documentary like about like a few hours ago. Like it was a great time during baseball. I mean, I don't watch the sport like constantly, but watching this doc, I can see how you would get excited off this home run race that they're going on. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. That was it's basically like action. I always say like there's too much downtime in baseball, like but like home runs definitely exciting for the game. Like I'm kind of like a little. Because they didn't go I always thought they would go way more into the steroids stuff. They didn't go so deep as I really wanted it to be. But
they ain't had time.
But that's actually a good thing.
So.
I don't think they care. It's a good thing. I'm glad they did it. We know that story already. Everyone knows that story. What is there about it? You know?
All right.
Who cares?
All right.
I mean, because again, like Johnny said, those two, that era. Shout out to my nigga Ken Griffey for doing it the right way, though. He was out there busting ass, too.
Yeah,
they smoking Griffey, bro.
Yeah, yo, Griffey. Griffey, so it was supposed to be Mark and Ken, and Ken was just like, "Yo, these dudes is crazy. I can't do this."
Sammy Sosa came out of nowhere, but
Sammy hit 20 home runs in 1 month, which is nuts.
In June, bro.
Ken
June.
Ken Griffey definitely smacked a good amount of home runs.
He was
I think he got he was in the high 40s.
Yeah,
I think he finished with like 50 or 51, no?
49, high 40s, yeah.
But
again,
they obviously packed him up.
Yeah. But again, this was post lockout, so baseball was dry as fuck. They was fighting to get fans back. So this, like John said, this actually brought back baseball. People were even with
that
them
season,
being from trash teams.
Even that season, because before, I'm sorry about that. Even that season, like they lost their legendary, like in the beginning of the season, they lost their legendary announcer. Yeah, Harry Carey.
Harry Carey.
Cubs. Yeah. So that was even this season was like even big of a starting off with such a letdown. This season meant more to that fan base.
And again, Sammy he stole the show from Kerry Woods because he was supposed to be that guy.
Yeah, Kerry Wood was supposed to, and he was a very good pitcher for a very long time. I remember Kerry Wood. I forgot about him.
Ken Griffey in '98 hit 56.
Oh wow!
So he was there.
I knew he was in the 50s.
Kev, you were closer. You were closer.
Yeah, I knew
you got that.
He was there. So, Ken Griffey was definitely there.
No, I mean, again, I didn't watch. For a lot of people who don't watch baseball, everybody was tuned into the race. Everybody had.
No, fine. That would have been if Ken Griffey would have hit a couple more. He was actually it was all three of them. He was still there. He was still there.
Tight.
If he had like 59, 60 or some shit.
Yeah.
But that was a good doc, man. So we're gonna keep the content coming. But this is our episode 9 of the OSA Out of Shape Allstars. Thank you guys for watching.
And
you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you have any suggestions, leave them below. We got the team here. Of course, our host Eddie Horchata is over there. We got the Horchata. We got the kid Johnny 5 here. We got the kid KJ here. Drew here as well.
What up?
I'm here. Hopefully we get DQ back next week. DQ feel better, bro. I know your booty a little raw right now, but feel better, bro. And like always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Watch this episode. Watch our previous episodes. And Eddie, how do we leave this place, G?
We out.